Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. Today we're painting this dramatic, like stormy red sky, I guess. So we're going to be using reds and like maroon colors and whatnot. So let's try this out, shall we? So I'm just trying to figure out my palette here, because I'm using a new one that I've used in the last few tutorials. I love it. It's amazing. Link in the description if you're interested. But I'm trying to figure out the colors still, because when you wet them, they're a little bit different than what they look like when they're dry. But anyways, I'm starting with like a deep purple color, and this is very exciting because I literally have like I don't even know 10 different purples to choose from, and on my previous palette I had one, which wasn't that big of an issue because I didn't use purple that much to begin with, since I paint mostly like nature things, and you just use a lot of greens and blues and browns and blacks. But nonetheless, I'm using like this brownish purple in here as well. So then this fades. I'm gonna fade them orangey or like a pinky orange. Let's try, no, that is not the orange I wanted. Okay. What about I wanted like a peachy orange for this to fade into. This will do for now, before fading into a deep red, which I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. Okay, that looks quite nice, I think. I like this gradient. And so now I am going to drop a lot of pigment into here. And I'm gonna take like a dark purple or like brown, like purple mixed with brown or even black. Because I want to create a very moody cloud effect here. I'm just adding black and brown to darken my purple, and like I'm gonna have chunkier clouds on top, and they're gonna thin out as they move towards the bottom. So I've done this technique, so we're doing wet on wet obviously here, and I've done this a little bit in previous tutorials, and I really like that dramatic effect that these clouds on this sky give off. Now I'm trying a little bit more to like have more pronounced clouds rather than these blurry patches, but it's obviously difficult to control when you're doing wet on wet because the clouds just go where they want to go. So here I'm having some wispy clouds that are sort of going upwards. I don't think I like that though. Ugh. And I'm using a smaller brush just to try to get that control that I was talking about. So I have my clouds originating mostly from the left side, I would say. And you do want to work fairly quickly because you don't want your background to dry before you've had a chance to apply all of your clouds. So depending what kind of paper you're working with, that will influence your speed. So these bottom clouds, I'm gonna try to make them a little more, what would you call it, like flat rather than bumpy. And using a smaller brush definitely helps with the control. Like when I was using my bigger brushes, they carried a lot of water, and so that kind of made the pigment also go everywhere. Although for these top sections, I am going to use both sizes of my brush because they are bigger. The clouds are bigger at the top. I really like doing this painting technique because it's such a simple painting. Like all you have to do is paint a gradient and then you just paint a bunch of lines in between and it just creates these beautiful cotton candy clouds. Makes it look super moody. And you can keep dropping pigment on top of your clouds in order to intensify them, because as they dry, as they spread out, they tend to lose some of their intensity. Just again, be mindful that you are not like that your painting isn't dry while you're doing this, because then it might ruin your desired effect. Okay, so what I don't like is this bleeding situation. So I'm trying to pick up some of that pigment, or not pick it up, but like blend it out so that it's not this like spidery vein thing. I don't like that. And I'm inadvertently creating like highlights around my clouds by doing that, which not necessarily the intention, but you know, what are you gonna do? So we can either leave our sky the way that it is now and call it a day, call that our tutorial, or we can add some silhouettes to add some fun to this painting, make it utilize the background for something essentially. So I'm going to let this dry. While I'm letting it dry, I'm going to think about what I'm going to paint on top. Okay, so I tried out a variety of circular things here because I'm going to be painting a Ferris wheel. So I just wanted something circular to trace the shape onto. Which I've done. And actually, kind of wish I had something a little bit smaller. My soap dispenser, will that work? Not really, it's a bit too big. Okay, I'm just gonna freehand the inside of it because it kind of has like this double. I'm just looking at a Ferris wheel online, like the image of a Ferris wheel, because I don't regularly look at Ferris wheels, so I don't know what they look like from memory. So yeah, I have an outer circle and inner circle, and let's just say that that's my, so this is about the center, I would say. Where is my center? So this was my glass right here. That was right on. And then it has like a circle in the center, and it has this little thing coming down from it to keep it in place. And then it has like those, I need a ruler now. Oh, this will work. Okay. That's good enough for me, I would say. And then it has those little seats, I guess. But I don't really feel like painting those. I feel like that would take a very long time. Like they hang from where? Where do these little seats even hang from? Kind of like these little buckets. Sorry guys, I'm talking to myself here. All right, that'll do for now, whatever this is. So I'm gonna take, you can use acrylic paint as well if this is easier for you, but I am too lazy to go get black acrylic paint. I've got black watercolor here, that's what I'm going to use. So this is gonna be tricky a little bit to paint this perfect circle. With my black freehand, with my black watercolor using freehand. Hey, but that's not too bad. I'm happy with that result. And I'm just doing the inside now. And this interior circular portion. So my best advice for this part would be, my friends, to just look up an image on the internet and use that, because watching me do it, I mean, you can, no one's stopping you, but I think it would be a lot easier to have a concrete image to follow, so you know, okay, this is what I'm painting now, not like blindly just painting something because I'm painting it. I just looked up a very simple image of a Ferris wheel and am freehanding it as best as I can. So I've talked about this YouTube channel in a previous video, but I really, really like watching Isabel Page. She's like, she lives in somewhere in the Northwest in the States, and she lives in a little tiny house in a forest, and it's very cottagecore, which I guess turns some people off, but I love her content, like turning on the beeswax candles and making everything from scratch. It's exactly what I do in my own life. And so she gives me a lot of ideas to incorporate into my house and into my life. And she just remodeled her tiny house, mostly because it had a bunch of plumbing issues. But it looks even more cozy than it did before now. And it makes me want to like not remodel our house, because I really like the style of our house, but we have been replacing a lot of furniture with more practical solutions. So the motivation has not been aesthetics, it's been how do we get more space out of what we have, because our house is really small. And before, when, you know, well, I mean, it's still just the two of us, but we're expecting a baby on the way, and we need to utilize the space that we have. So we've been decluttering a lot, replacing furniture, with much more useful furniture, with more storage space, you know, the whole shebang. And as I'm doing that, like, kind of a win-win. I'm just keeping my cottagecore aesthetic in mind, one would say. Okay, sorry, so just a quick interlude here, but I'm going to switch to a fine tip marker for this part. I don't know why I didn't just do that from the beginning, but I do want to make those little bucket seat things and the lines that are crisscrossing. I'm just going to do that with a marker because it's way easier, but I have to wait for the black that I've already painted to dry. So I'm going to use this thing again as my ruler. Super convenient. So I would have liked to honestly do more of these, but my marker is kind of starting to run out. I'm going to try and do it anyway. Can you imagine if I tried doing this with like freehand, painting all these straight lines? Come on, marker. You can do it. Okay, and now I just got to draw those little buckets. I'm gonna try this marker though, because that one is really running out or whatnot. So those are not super consistent there, but it is what it is. I'm gonna use black watercolor just to fill the buckets in, because my markers are not coping well painting over the watercolor, drawing over the watercolor. That was my chair, just in case anyone's wondering. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. I'm not gonna mess around with that anymore. It's already more than I was intending. So when you're happy with it, you can peel your tape off, and it should result in a beautiful painting. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really did. I don't usually do things like this. If you did, please don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the like button.